It's list time! Hello and welcome to a top 10 video. Today we're going to have a look at the top 10 figures of 2021. As is tradition on this channel at the beginning of the new year, we're going to have a look at what came out in the last year. Little bit on a disclaimer on this note. Yes, I know it's by the end of February by the time this video comes out, but I recorded it in January. So don't mind all the beginning of the new year blah blah blah, blah stuff. Moving on. Rules for this list? Very simple. First of all, I have to own it. Haha. Duh. Second, it has to have come out in the year 2021. Even if I reviewed it in 2021, doesn't count. Release date 2021 or bust. Also, while we're all here, I want to wish all of you guys a happy new year. Thanks for all the love and support you sent my way last year, and I hope we're kicking it off right this year. Just remember also, this is my list, so I definitely have some preferences in some figures that you might not have, and that's fine. That's why we have comments down below. You can list whatever you enjoyed last year, and maybe there's some stuff I missed out on, maybe there's some stuff I want to go back to, but without further ado, let's have a look at the top 10 figures of 2021, brought to you by me, the real Payne. But before we get into it, here are 3 honorable mentions. One of them is the Mafex Hush. Main reason behind this one, why is it on the list? Because, well, first of all, I have a lot of cool stuff prepared for you. Don't go away. But anyway, this figure I think is amazing. I think the design is great, that they really stuck with the comic book idea, the comic book look of the character. But as Mafex goes, I think it's too pricey. That's really it. Even though I love this figure, but it's also fairly basic. The accessories aren't the greatest, and he doesn't even hold on to his gun so great. So overall, there's just some small, minor nitpicks, but it always comes back to the price point. Another really good one is the Mattel WWE Ultimate Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I feel like a great representation as a figure. However, I just started dipping my toes into the wrestling character pool. I will get some more, and I want to have a more overlook of what Mattel's doing. If this one's really that great, for me, like, it's something new, it's something exciting. As such, I think it's not really fair to put it on the list just yet. Maybe I go back on it, and maybe I think later better about it. But still, it's a great figure, but I need more wrestling figures in order to really gauge if this one is as amazing as I feel like. Even though, like, one thing I can't complain about is, like, the body is accurate somehow, but it seems also fairly basic, something that they probably recycle a lot. So, you know, still great release. Storm Collectibles, Motaro, the giant centaur, man. And I mean, just look at this. The simple fact that you put this beast into a figure and it works, and it's also articulated well, and it does keep some amazing poses, carry all this weight, and you know, just it looks great, it articulates well. You also get like Bob, the bloody skeleton man, with it as an accessory, because Storm Collectibles does deliver still on big accessories, even though you have a big, huge character, which honestly, most of the time companies just make like big characters and then you barely have any accessories. But Storm Collectibles says, no, we got everything, and you know, this thing is just a total package. As such, it's opening this list. And if this is opening the list, you know it's a good list. The Bandai Warhammer Salamander's Intercessor. Listen, I have no idea about Warhammer other than it's big, bulky guys screaming at each other and kicking some major butt with some huge weapons. Also, there's like tabletop games and all of the things about that. But I know nothing about it. But this figure, I wanted to know more about Warhammer. I wanted to see more. I wanted to just get a little bit into it. I'm not like gonna start tabletop stuff, but just like, this figure is so good. He's big, bulky, and that's kind of a theme this year. There's a lot of big and bulky dudes. And the articulation, I feel like, is amazing. We had the McFarlane ones before this, and yes, he does come at a high price, but my god, does it look awesome. Has some great shading. The weapon has amazing detail, and it's just, I'm in love with it. I'm in love with just the overall design of those Salamander's Intercessor, the Interceptors, or whatever, the main type of characters that you have in Warhammer with these big bulky armors. It's an amazing job, and I think Bandai absolutely delivered. I think I can call this one the biggest surprise of the year. It's the Sentinel Lancelot Berserker. I wasn't gonna pick this figure up because like most of the Sentinel releases have been a different size than the Figma ones. Some of them have been really small. Even though they look cool, I always was like, I don't really want to get into it. Then this figure came out and a lot of people were like, oh, this guy is so great. He fits in with Figma oh so well. Has a great paint job, articulation, and all the kind of ribbons in the back. I call it ribbons, but like obviously that's not what it is. But you can freely move that around. Does for some amazing poses. The only problem I have like it is kind of hard to pose with all the stuff that's going on, but I feel like it's forgivable for just an amazing design and representation of the character. And yeah, the only other issue I have with I do seem to have an issue with a lot of figures on this list. This guy's pretty expensive. So would have been higher if they would have fixed the feet and made them less expensive, but still it's a presence and it's something to behold, and it's something that I feel shouldn't miss in a Fate collection. And I feel like we have the one big Super 7 release of the year going back to big and bulky. It's Super 7 Rocksteady. This figure is huge. Has a lot of detail, and I think what really elevates it oh so well is the paint job. You have like a dry brush on all the detail on the nooks and crannies of his muscle work. And not only that, but like as you can tell, the paint, the mold is amazing already. There's like so much stuff that brings this guy to life and elevates the original toy that we have. The only thing I have kind of like a little bit of an issue with was the pants, that they're so shiny in contrast to the rest of the body. But other than that, look at the size. It's as big as, almost as big as my head, and Super 7 really delivering on these guys. The one thing I could have said, I could have added to the list were the turtles, because they always release one turtle with every line, but it's always the same. The turtles are always the same mode, so I'm not gonna continue to up and add the turtles to the list. So we got Rocksteady as the only representation for Super 7 this year. I gotta say, even though I don't have a lot of NECA on this list, NECA has done a really stellar job with very good releases this year. Just like most of the time I had problems with some quality control here and there, but overall they've done a great job. However, only one character, only one figure made it on the list, and it's absolutely worth it. It's Chrome Dome. Big and bulky, ha, here we are again with this one. This figure is just beautiful. I think like the best part about it is the paint job. You have this comic book, this cartoon line has always the exact same idea of having like a 2 or 3 tone paint job. You have like brighter and darker parts on the body, and it works so well with this guy. You have like, it looks like metal. It looks like cartoon metal, that you have the nice clean white with a bunch of gray on it, and you have like the red eyes and just some blue here and there, and it just makes for an amazing look. The figure is absolutely awesome, also articulates well, and I don't have anything to complain about. I love it. Mwah. We're moving over from big and bulky to red and gorgeous. We got the Good Smile Fate Nero in the dress version, and this was also the year where I bought a couple of statues again, and this one was one that I had to get. It is technically a re-release, so the original released a couple of, like, I don't know when the original released. That might have not been this year, but I'm counting as re-release because that's the one I got, and that's the time I saw the figure, and I'm in love with it. This design, it's absolutely beautiful. They made a dress that really represents Nero well. You have the butt window, and it's gorgeous. It does come with a couch, which I can't hold right now because I'm standing here. I don't have anything to put it on. It does come at a price, obviously, but I have zero complaints about this figure. It even feels nice and silky. The paint job on it is fantastic, and the mold, like you even have like detail in the back muscles, like kind of like the bones and whatnot, shoulder blades and the boobage, and it's done to perfection, and yeah, beautiful. If you're a long-time fan of this channel, you might be asking yourself, where the Figma's at? Where the Figma's at, Payne? Where the Figma's at? Well, here. We have the Fate Alter Ego Okita Soji in the Alter version. Okita Soji, whatever you pronounce that one. This one is fairly recent, so you've probably seen the review. If you don't, go back and watch it. This figure is like one of the more outstanding releases from Figma. We've had some trouble, we had some issues. I repeat myself every year with Figma. The main problem that they're having is their quality control. This figure, at least for my part, didn't have any issues. The paint looked great, the articulation works very well, especially with all the stuff that's going on with the tight coat and the hair thing. So I gotta give him props for that. And it's just like one of the better releases. It's something that really stands out, and design-wise is an awesome choice, I feel like, for a figure. And it just works. Has a great sword, awesome accessory in general, and yeah, that's why it's here. I gotta say, 2021 for me was the year where I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Modern, and I went back to like playing Go with a bunch of friends. As such, it should be no surprise that on this day, on this list, on this number, we got the Mega House, Red Eyes and Blue Eyes. I put both of them on the list because really I feel like it's personal preference. If you're Team Kaiba, if you're Blue Eyes, then this figure is something you just have to have one in your collection. I feel like this representation in general, it looks a little bit more realistic, it looks a little bit darker, but it also feels like it's so close to the original artwork with the pose and whatnot, the big head. And that's really what drew me into this one. But if you ask me, I gotta be honest, I'm a bit more a fan of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. This figure, just like, especially the paint on it, you have like the black, you have shades of blue in it, you have shades of like see-through red in the wings and like the claws overall, and it's so menacing, it's so great, it has a presence with the wingspan and whatnot. But overall, yeah, both of them absolutely can recommend, and I love both. And for the only other Figma on this list, we got the Figma Falslander Lancer figure. Now, I was thinking about this one. You have a lot of figures this year released from Figma that are based on the artwork by Neko. You got like the AZB and Ichi, heavily armored high school girls and stuff, which all kind of follow this type of design. And that's why I only got this one. I kind of thought about putting all three of them on this list, but no, I feel like they're all very similar in design, in size and whatnot. So I just picked my favorite one, and that's why it's so high also on the list, because it's kind of like a representation of all the Neko figures, Neko design figures we got from Figma this year. And I really hope we got more, because they are absolutely beautiful looking, have a bunch of cool accessories, detail, and obviously the design is fantastic. And especially, I feel like it's a better Figma because there's like more to it. There's more articulation. There's like double hinged knee joints and whatnot for some of them. And overall, it elevates Figma, for me personally, a little bit than more of the standard releases. And finally, the one and only, the last one of the list. It's the SH Figuarts Cooler Final Form. Yeah, I didn't have any SH Figuarts on the list this year, even though they had some cool releases, but I always had trouble with quality control. You had like Raccoon, where the chest area just kept moving side to side. We had Raditz, where I had some paint issues. The knees and elbow joints have a different paint and the rest of it. There was always some issues with it, big or small, but this guy, he's big, and the issues are not even small, they're non-existent. It's such a great release. It's also beautiful, articulates very, very well for like a big dude, and the paint job is amazing. And with Figuarts, I mentioned it in the review, sometimes they don't even do paint, but this guy, everything's painted, everything is shaded. Like from all, even like the purple parts, you know, like it's not really as noticeable on the light, but there's some stuff over there, and the white of it is also perfectly molded, nicely shaded, and do I have any issues with this guy? No, absolutely not. Well, it's a bit more expensive, but with everything you're getting, such a great figure, and obviously one of the best SH Figuarts Dragon Ball figures, considering how many that there are. Yeah, it's that good. And that's gonna do it, guys. That's gonna wrap up my top 10 figures of 2021. I put this list together with love and care. I looked at all of my releases, all of my videos from the last year, and I picked up the stuff which I thought was the best. If you have any thoughts about it, negative or positive, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget, if you enjoy this type of content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let me know what else you want to see, what else are you looking forward in 2022, what's the pre-orders you have going, what are the pre-orders you want me to have a look at least. I'm not making any promises, but you know, there's so much figures going on all the time, everywhere. It's hard to keep up with everything. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out, sticking till the end to the video, and that's gonna do it. As usual, once again, if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, top 10, and whatever I want.